Coupés are notoriously impractical. Their long doors, cramped interiors and ingress and egress that should rather be left to Russian gymnasts often dissuades many from buying coupés. But the fact of the matter is that they look better. And in the case of the new Mercedes-Benz C-Class Coupe, they look a whole lot better. Just look at it, it is wonderfully attractive. I must admit, I prefer the styling of the Coupé over that of the sedan. It looks more like a car and less like Salvador Dali's persistence of memory. Sharp angles, beautiful tail lights. Tell you what, it's Instagram material, this. If you park this next to an S-Class Coupe, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between the two of them. So many of the styling cues have been carried over into this new C-Class Coupe. That's fantastic news for C-Class Coupe owners. But S-Class Coupe owners, consider your thunder stolen. Now, looks are one thing, but I was always told it's what's inside that counts, and if that's the case, C-Class Coupe is a certain winner. The interior is very similar to the C-Class sedan, but even in this base spec model, it feels classy, it feels right, it's well bolted together and beautifully appointed. It's a stylish, beautiful place to spend time. And my favorite part are these beautiful high back bucket seats that are unique to the Coupé. They're heated and air-conditioned in this one, and the red seat belts, those are an option. Which brings me to my next point. Most of your German luxury offerings aren't really anything special in their base spec. You really do need to spec them up and check a couple of the options to make it something special and something worthwhile. But that gives you the opportunity to create and to tailor a car that best suits your needs and suits, well, your character and your personality. Now, these options are quite impressive in the C-Class Coupe. We've got the Airmatic suspension system, which irons out undulations in the roads and helps stabilize the car through corners. At first, it's a little unsettling when you go through the faster highway sweeps. But once you get used to it, you can revel in the stability and the sure-footedness of it. The intelligent LED lighting system is particularly effective at night. It essentially sees you driving around on your high beams all the time, but it creates dark patches around cars in front of you or oncoming traffic so that you don't dazzle them. This means that you get fantastic road illumination without being a nuisance to the other road users. The command system, admittedly, is not my favorite. It's not a bad system, but it takes a long time to get used to it. And it can prove to be a little fiddly and even frustrating when you're trying to change functions on the move, especially with this touch interface. It's not the end of the world. You can do all of these things through the multifunction steering wheel and the display in the center of the gauge cluster. Distronic Plus is another one of those optional extras that's worth having and worth the money. This radar-guided cruise control is really refined and well polished. It's very, very effective. It's a must-have if you drive on our South African highways or do any sort of long-distance driving. The C200 Coupé model that we're in here now is priced at 572,000 Rand. And that positions it quite well up against the likes of the Audi A5 and the BMW 4 Series rivals. In fact, the Japanese offerings are slightly more expensive, but they do have a slightly higher standard spec level. This is the base spec, and if you spec it the way that we've got it here, it is going to retail for 760,000 Rand. Motor-wise, well, that plays less and less a role in modern vehicles. These smaller motors are considerably more efficient but still offering adequate power. The C200 that we're in here has a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol motor. Makes 135 kilowatts, 300 newton meters of torque. So it's not going to win any races, but it's more than enough to enjoy the sporty nature of this coupe. It'll also return figures of around 7.1 litres per 100 when driven cautiously, but you need to decide how you're going to drive it, and it's a bit of a hard decision because the C-Coupe is neither the ideal cruiser with its low ride height and stiff suspension, and neither is it an outright performance sports coupe. It's a fact that's compounded by the 7G-tronic gearbox that is neither lightning quick nor silky smooth, and that makes the C-Coupe a little confused. But who cares when it looks like an S-Class Coupe, is priced like a luxury compact sedan and garners this much attention? Sometimes it's worth the sacrifices. For the feel-good factor alone of driving this, the enjoyment that you derive from it, it's worth the small little sacrifices. Small little sacrifices, like missing 2 doors.